Hey, everybody, this is Steve Capano, and that's my co-host, Sven Hansen. We are interviewing attorney Freya Shoffner today on our podcast. I'm so excited about this one. This is going to be great. I'd like to introduce Freya. Previously, Freya was an adjunct professor of commercial law at Suffolk University Law School in Boston. Freya is a graduate of Mount Holyoke College and serves as an alumni admissions representative for the school. She received her JD magna cum laude from Suffolk University Law School. Yeah, she's done a lot and still does. Freya is a member of the Phi Delta Phi fraternity. She's admitted to the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts, the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, the United States Appeals Court for a Circuit, the United States Tax Court, and the United States Bankruptcy Court, District of Massachusetts. So welcome, Freya Shoffner, to the program.
Wow. Thank you, Stan.
That's huge. That's a lot of things to do. You've got any private life?
Would you give me a jealous of that?
So today we'd like to talk about AI and artificial intelligence in everyday life, and more importantly, I guess, with Freya being an attorney, I'm really excited to hear her take on this. So I think, Sven, you want to start it off? I think you had a question maybe, or what do you want to do?
No, I'm wondering what do you think in general about that? I mean, law. It is about people talking to each other, people convincing each other. It's at the end there are judges or a jury making the decision. What do you think? What could be the approach? What could AI change in all that game, in all that human-made game? I mean, it's all about interpretation, right?
It is all about interpretation, Sven. The interesting thing about AI is if you think of it from a management perspective, the manager's job is to push tasks and responsibilities down the chain of command, if you will, so that the manager can constantly grow and improve. Now, in the practice of law, one of the things that we're faced with is a tremendous growth of the regulations, regulatory law. And along with that comes the need to review more and more documents. So the idea of using AI for document review, in other words, if I receive 100,000 pages of documents that I need to collate, separate, and summarize for a complicated commercial law case, well, I can pay 5 people to sit for hours and hours and hours doing this mind-numbing thing, searching for words, or I can use an AI. Now, if I'm using AI for a task like that, that then allows the person who ordinarily would be doing that to review the product, what AI produced, check it for accuracy, and move on. So AI can be a tremendous help in document review, particularly what we call electronic discovery and litigation. The other thing that we can use, and this also comes in with the aspect of a complex litigation, is that you can use AI for predictive coding so that keywords in certain documents can be picked up and they can be categorized. So then I say, okay, I want to look at all the purchase orders between these two companies over the last 10 years. And what my AI is going to do is sift through all these hundreds of pages of scanned documents, say, here are the purchase orders. Okay, well, I want all purchase orders that refer to the purchase of camels. There they are. And from that perspective, the other thing is legal research. Once upon a time, a law library might take up 4 or 5 shelves. Well, it's not the case anymore. And if you think of all the appellate cases, all the regulations that have come down, you can use AI in research again to narrow the scope so that the then human, either paralegal or attorney, has less of a daunting task and is more likely to find the accurate information. And finally, my favorite thing about AI for a law firm is my chatbot on my website. I have found clients have found that to be terrific, and I found it to be terrific.
Yeah.
This gives people a way to interact with the law firm. First of all, that's very non-threatening. Think about it. You get a call a lawyer. Ooh, scary. We know lawyers aren't nice. We know lawyers aren't friendly. So it's, you can just chat back and forth a little bit with somebody named Ben or Nancy or whatever the bot happens. And then you get a call back from my intrepid Jasmine. So that's just a summary, Sven, of the categories where AI could be used. And I agree with you with the practice of law. It's an art. But there's a whole lot of just plain work that can be delegated. And if we can delegate it to software as opposed to delegating it to a human, that's okay with me.
Nice. Interesting. Just a second, Stevie. I just wanted to ask. I asked the AI about the AI and law and the relationship, and he told me he could predict analytics in the future. Would you use that? Would you just listen to someone and by using the AI telling him you won't or will accept the case or not? Is that possible?
It would help me narrow my questions for someone who is considering engaging me as their lawyer. Okay. We use this a bit already. My chatbot allows a certain amount of differentiation before we make the call. We know what the person called us about, when they want to talk to us, and a few other things. So as far as the possibility of a predictive analysis, I think I would definitely look at that. Would I rely entirely on AI as to whether I would speak to a person who's requested information about our services? I don't know. I think that I might look at that on a case by case basis. But again, I can do that if the AI tells me this is the issue. And we take care of small businesses, so we handle many issues. So if I receive, if AI says, okay, today you have 3 inquiries about commercial mortgages, and you have 2 inquiries about small claims litigation. Okay, the 2 then I know who is going to talk to the commercial mortgage people, the people who want commercial mortgages, and who's going to talk to the people who want to file a suit for less than $7,500.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So it's a nice tool.
Yes. Yeah.
How about drawbacks?
Pardon me, Steve?
How about drawbacks? What do you see as the negatives?
I think that the negatives are what Sven identified, is that it is too easy, possibly, to let the AI or use the AI for the end product or the end decision. And where I see something similar is when I see documents that come to me from other attorneys that have been clearly off the shelf. And they may have paragraphs that are not quite redundant, and that leads to confusion, and that leads to ambiguity, so we wouldn't want that to be in there. You'll even see things where the typeface changes. So I know that person has just relied on a form, and that they probably don't know everything that's in there. And I see the possibility, I won't say misuse, but the possibility for ineffective use of AI as in relying on it too much. So my point of view is that we have the AI, it's a tool, but if you were to look at the chain of command, if you will, within the firm, this is at the very bottom level. The other thing is, let's not use AI to make more work for the humans.
When when we started with computers, we thought the paperwork is over. No.
No, it's just people say, well, what do you do? And I say, I move electrons around on a screen all day for about 8 hours. And, oh, yes, it will work less with computers. Right. On the cell phone, you'll be able to take it with you anywhere, so you won't have to spend so much time on the phone.
Great point.
Well, to make it safer, so you'll save time making phone calls because you're going to talk on the phone in your car all day.
Yeah. What about the system, the legal system in the United States? I know it from Germany. It is well overloaded. All the prosecutors, all the judges, all the lawyers. It is like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same in the United States?
Oh, yeah, we're struggling.
Yeah.
And of course, our courts shut down for the better part of a year, if not more, because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a backlog of cases. Now there's more of a backlog of cases. Now, the backlog, the severity of the backlog really depends on the location of the court and the subject matters that the court addresses. So our federal courts that address very serious crimes and interstate commercial disputes, they're less backlogged.
Okay.
And on the other hand, in Massachusetts, the probate courts, where they handle not only the administration of decedents' estates, but also all aspects of family law, divorces, guardianships, custody disputes, they need help.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Stevie,
how about judges in AI? How or up the ladder or what do you think about that?
What I see is less about the judge and more about, again, the administration and the organization of the cases that are the judge's responsibility. Okay. Again, what we think about document review, that would be huge, and the ability to categorize, that would be huge. And again, difference in court, but in probate court, the judge doesn't have a clerk, doesn't have a secretary. The judge has to write all his own opinions, often written in the margin of the paper that came in because there's no time. I think that it would be wonderful if they could have a more streamlined system, and I think that certain AI functions would be very helpful. Unfortunately, or fortunately, our courts are part of the government, and so snap decisions do not get made. And it will take
always.
Yeah, it will take a while. However, if you think about a litigation, it's the attorney's obligation to come to court with all the documents that the judge is going to consider. So if the attorney comes in with a well collated, cohesive, easily accessed set of documents, that's going to help the judge. Now, most times we present those on a flash drive, on a thumb drive. And if the judge then had access to AI, would possibly do a different sort on the documents as they're considering whether or not to make a judgment. So there are possibilities where the private sector could use AI to make it easier for the judge, just as it's easier for the judge when we come in with a flash drive and say, here are all the documents, Your Honor, as opposed to 17 boxes of paper.
Yeah.
Does AI have all of the law libraries that you mentioned earlier, the 4 shelves of libraries, or is that a different kind of
Well,
or
uh,
knowledge base?
right now, anyone can access the entire Cornell University Law Library. And yeah, so many of us no longer have physical law libraries. We will access Cornell. And then there are also services to which we can subscribe that, for example, Westlaw, you have access to any case law, statute, regulation, and in addition to that, there are scholarly articles. And through that one Westlaw, you can get everything. And of course, then when we first started out, that was LexisNexis was the first. And that goes way, way, way back. So certainly if, I were on the board of directors of Westlaw, I'd be looking at, well, how can we use AI to help our customers?
Brilliant.
Yeah. I think it's very practical. And as Stephen mentioned in the beginning, I was in the police for 16 years in Germany. And once I was working on a huge case, and they invited me in like 3-4 weeks later, and I needed to do all these site accusations. So I needed to read, I don't know how many thousand sites to pick up relation between people, and that would be so easy by doing that by AI. Hey, this John is sold things to whom and when and where and so on. So yeah, that would be huge help.
Yeah,
to
that's where
many institutions. Yeah,
that where I see it on legal end particularly is in what we call discovery, the gathering and evaluation and selection of the information and the documents that are going to be presented to prove or disprove the issue at hand.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. Amazing.
I get chills, maybe just because the air conditioning was on. I'm not sure about this. The open AI that I've been using is really just since I think came out end of November. And I've been using it, I think, just a couple weeks after. I had some other ones, and Sven uses AI a lot as well. We write a lot, do a lot to write content on the internet. But this new one, this chat, openai.com is just, it's freaky. I mean, it really, it's powerful. I changed a few words here and there. I mean, I just asked it to write a children's book yesterday, and it did it. I have all the text I need. I just have to illustrate it. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's kind of change everything. I really feel bad. I used to say things like, with Velcro sneakers, kids aren't going to learn to tie their shoes. And I think that happened. I know some, nephews and nieces that couldn't tie shoes. And now I'm a little bit worried about AI with, younger folks and how it's used, because I mean, you could really probably become dumb maybe, or lose some grammar techniques or things like that. But,
those are already going. Grammar is gone.
Grammar's gone, yeah. And in my world, it is actually. Yeah.
For that grammar, we have reached the point where me and is everywhere. So forget grammar. On the other hand, I'll give you an example that goes back a little bit, but is relevant. The idea of spell check. People will never learn to spell because of spell check. They'll forget how to spell because spell check. But I knew a child who had a very rough start as a baby and had some significant brain damage. And one of the problems that he had was spelling. What he found was that, his own spelling was so far off that spell check wouldn't give him any help. So he found that if he kept trying, he got enough letters right, then spell check would pick it up. And eventually, this is how he learned to spell.
Brilliant.
So, we look at, your AI wrote a children's book. You send that to an editor at Harper Row, they're going to come back and say, oh yeah, openai.com. Reject.
Yeah. Good point.
Stephen, please send me the book, and I will ask AI if he wrote it.
That's great. I love it. Really love it.
Yeah. One thing that comes up to my mind is translators on like DeepL. Are you familiar with DeepL translator? DEEPL translator. Far beyond Google Translate. Far beyond.
Oh, Sven needs that.
Yeah.
By
the way,
he's an educator. No,
just found it. Okay.
And there's a free version. Check it out.
Okay.
Nice. Thanks for the tip. We'll put that in the notes. I love it.
Well, I speak both French and Spanish somewhat. However, if I have to translate an entire estate plan into French or Spanish, I will use that and then go back and make sure that that what is written is what I want. But this allows me to work with my Spanish-speaking and my French-speaking clients much more effectively, because what they would have had to do in the past is find someone who can translate what I sent. So now I can send two versions, English in black, Spanish in blue, and there you go.
Excellent.
So, but I think that's another idea that comes up, is that, as we become a much more global economy and a global society, having access to something that will help us translate into a language perhaps that we've not encountered before and be able to rely on that would be fantastic.
Excellent. Well, we went way over our time. That's just, you're super easy to talk to, but I could go on for a lot longer. And I think Sven can too. He can go on for a lot longer. I know that. But do you have any last thoughts, Freya or Sven, or who wants to go first? Freya, any last thoughts on AI or your, I'll put more about your log practice in the notes, but Freya and I have known each other for at least 7 years now. She's a pleasure to work with. One of my favorite people and customers. I'm just really happy that you came on and helped us out with our new podcast. So thank you very much. And the floor is yours, Freya.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. And I'm very happy to know that neither you nor Sven is a bot today. And I'm looking forward to talking to you more and exploring more subjects on your podcast. If you'd like to have me back, I'd happy to be there.
Thank you so much.
That would be very nice. Yeah. We got some very, very interesting ideas, some very interesting point of views from a lawyer. Yeah. And I think the future will show us where we go with this AI. I like it. I've got some concerns, of course, but I think, we should use it definitely. It's evolution. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you have a tool, use it. Just learn to use it properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll put the one that I like in the notes as well, and maybe you could leave comments if there's viewers that like different AI chats or different things. Please let us know what you think and your thoughts. And thank you very much again. Signing out, Sven. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I'll see you soon. Sven's right down the street from me. We're both in Brazil. Freya's in Boston. So international podcast. Here we are.
Yeah. Great.
See you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. We'll end it for today. I really appreciate everything. Bye-bye.
Bye.